A powerful earthquake of magnitude 7.3 hit at 5:46 a.m. on the 17th of January 1995. Its hypocenter was the northern part of Awaji Island.
Escala de intensidade sísmica da Agência Meteorológica do Japão, tendo como epicentro a região norte da ilha Awaji.
We call it the Hanshin Awaji Daishinsai. It was one of the biggest natural disasters in Japan. More than 6,400 people were killed and more than 100,000 houses were completely destroyed. 20 years have passed since Hanshin Awaji Daishinsai. I came to Japan from Brazil 1 year ago. I have not experienced a huge earthquake and no feeling of how dreadful it is. I suppose many foreigners in Shiga don't know that you had such a powerful disaster near here.
Eu acho que muitos deles não fazem ideia de que há pouco tempo atrás ocorreu grande terremoto bem perto daqui.
I felt it was an explosion at the first moment. I was so frightened. I couldn't understand Japanese well, so I became more nervous. I could realize what was the first important. To survive, we need to have a close relationship with our neighbors in daily life. Our theme today is to learn from past earthquakes.
Como podemos nos prevenir de terremotos, aprendendo com as catástrofes do passado.
Hello, this is Jacqueline. Today's topic is the preparation for the quakes. Hello, this is Vanya Ishikura. Hanshin Awaji Daishinsai was a surprise to find out that a huge earthquake happened near here. Recently, small earthquakes hit around Shiga many times. It is a matter of fact.
Mas é algo que não podemos ignorar, você não acha?
We need to examine the past quakes for that, so I went to know what Hanshin Awaji Daishinsai was.
Hanshin Awaji Daishinsai. Eu fui conferir.
Through the tunnel, there is Akashi Channel. Under the huge Akashi Channel bridge between Honshu and Awaji Island, there was the hypocenter of the Hanshin Awaji Daishinsai at a depth of 14 kilometers.
Epicentro que provocou o grande terremoto do sul de Ryogoken, o Hanshin Awaji Daishinsai.
The fault, Nojima Danso, across Awaji Island slipped heavily and it caused serious damage to the northern part of the island.
Sofreu grande deslocamento e acabou provocando grandes danos em toda a região norte da ilha Awaji.
The Nojima Fault Preservation Museum, which is the center of the Hokudan Earthquake Memorial Park, covered and shows us the part of the fault came up on the surface of land due to the quake.
No Parque Memorial do Terremoto Hokudan.
Is this the gap made by the quake? Oh, how dreadful.
Realmente não é só uma rachadura no chão.
In northwestern Awaji Island, Nojiba Danso appeared on the surface due to the quake 20 years ago. It reaches a length of 10 kilometers. The gap is under 1.2 meters in height, and it moved about 2 meters to the right. This model shows us how the fault moved and appeared. Please push the button. Okay. Great. Exactly. Yes, only 10 seconds passed. It was almost the same length with the real one. The fault moved around 10 seconds, but the shaking of the quake continued about 40 seconds. It shows us the amount of energy. At the last corner of the museum, we can see the underground structure.
Através da escavação de pesquisa feita após o terremoto.
Look, this central line is an active fault. This is Nojima Danso. It slipped and caused the quake. The fault made the gap. Yes, this blue soil is clay. This side went up.
こちらで地面が持ち上がっています。
Okay, I understand. The earthquake isn't shaking, but slipping. Yes, a slipping of an active fault causes an earthquake.
地震が起こる原因は活断層のずれです。
There is the memorial house on Hakudan Earthquake Memorial Park. It was an ordinary house on the active fault. Oh no, look at the kitchen. The cupboard fell down and there are so many pieces of dishes and so on the floor. If the whole family was here, if I was here, I can't imagine. The power of the earthquake was huge. It scared me even to think about it. The people who had experienced the quake talk about their experiences to visitors at the memorial house once a week.
Como Cataribe, contador de histórias, no Memorial House.
It was dreadful. Even now I feel like crying with fear. I thought it was an explosion at first. So frightened, I realized it was an enormous quake after it was over. I was sleeping on the second floor in a wooden house. All the furniture fell down. I was lucky nothing hit me. I could survive, but I began to wonder, what should I do? Even the image of the fault moving makes me nervous. I feel sad to think about their suffering.
No desespero e medo dessas pessoas e o sentimento de perda depois de tudo.
Exactly. I recognize this disaster has suffered the victims so much. Foreigners also lived there at the time. How were they?
Havia muitos estrangeiros no local. Como será que eles ficaram?
I visited Kobe City, most seriously damaged in the quake. One of the most seriously damaged areas was Nagataku. 10% of its residents were foreigners.
Muitos estrangeiros também. Eram 10% dos estrangeiros residentes registrados em Kobe.
Here is Daikoku Park, the campsite for the victims. The whole town except this park was burnt.
Aqui ao redor dessa praça houve vários incêndios devido ao terremoto, resultando numa grande área queimada e destruída.
Looking up, the shade of this lamp is a bit broken due to the heat of the fire. It tells us the fear of the quake as the symbol.
Devido ao calor do incêndio. Isso é símbolo que demonstra só pouco o pavor que incêndio pode provocar.
20 years have passed. We can find no trace of the disaster in the clean town.
Foi dos locais mais atingidos pelo terremoto.
Ms. Roxana Oshiro, whose grandparents came from Peru, is the representative of Hyogo Latin community. Could you tell me what happened and what you felt? Same with everyone. I got a shock and panic. I became more nervous with a language barrier. It was the biggest problem that I had no idea what should I do. In addition, I can't understand Japanese, so I panicked.
だから地震の時に一番困ってたのは、地震があるけどこれから何したらいいのか、それが一番困ってて、で日本語もわからなかったので本当にパニックな状態になったんです。
Now, Hyogo Latin community prints 12,000 leaflets per month in Spanish for Spanish speakers living in Hyogo to give them information including emergency management. They also have the radio program on every Wednesday and talk about disaster management. We noticed we had no preparation for earthquakes, so we do anything we can as Hyogo Latin community.
としてちょっと できることがあればやっていきたいと思います。今回は
This time we issued this guide to disaster prevention in Spanish, supported by Hyogo Prefecture. It's free of charge.
防災ガイドブックを作りましたね。このガイドは無料で今こうやっているんですけど。
There were around 80,000 foreign residents when the quake hit. About 30,000 of them were in a state of panic, especially due to the language barrier.
Dificuldades no idioma japonês. E por causa da barreira da língua, passaram por situações de grande insegurança.
Ms. Shizuyo Yoshitomi, the president of specified nonprofit corporation Multilanguage Center Facil, always works diligently giving help to foreign residents for these past 20 years.
Passou a atuar ativamente para prestar assistência necessária aos residentes estrangeiros.
What kinds of help have you done? Our center, Takatori Church, was the base for rescue soon after the quake. First of all, I came here and helped cooking and handing relief.
そこに来始めて救援物資を配ったり、それから炊き出しをしたりということの情報をね集めたり、それからいろんな大切な情報をスペイン語にして配ったりっていうことから始めたんです。
It's the most important to spread the right information. Decreasing their anxieties prevents them against spreading rumors. Rumors are dangerous, so we started the illegal radio program in various languages for non-Japanese speakers at someone's suggestion.
いろんな言語ね、日本語がわからない人もいるので、ラジオ使いませんかっておっしゃってくださって、それで海賊放送でラジオを使う放送を始めたんですね。それで
A year after the quake, we could restart it as a legal radio station, FMYY. We tell our listeners important information, but after that, we need to solve some problems with them. Our help includes such kinds of things.
その後また一緒にしないといけないですね。でそういうことを含めての支援をしたんですね。
Even now, her MPO Facil continues taking various actions to connect foreigners and local communities.
Com a finalidade de promover o intercâmbio entre a sociedade local e a comunidade estrangeira, através de diversos programas e atividades.
6,434 people were killed in the catastrophe. Such an enormous amount of death makes us so sad, but we don't have to forget it, and we need to tell it to future generations. We must learn from this tragedy to build up the better society. I believe it's our duty because we escaped death.
伝えていかないといけないし、
素晴らしいこの気持ち。
その自信を良い社会を作るための何か糧にする、糧にするって言ったら語弊ありますけど、何かきっかけにするっていうのは残された私たちがしないといけないことだと思います。
The language barrier is hard to remove still now.
Atualmente parece que melhorou bastante, mas
Exactly. But once we know their experiences in the quake, we can realize what to do.
Como fazer caso aconteça alguma calamidade.
Learning from the catastrophe, what's the preparation? People knew what they should do in a disaster. The situation would be far better. Even though they don't understand Japanese, not only Spanish but also other language speakers who live in Japan can behave correctly when earthquake hits or tsunami comes. After getting knowledge, it's a very important point.
その時に災害に達してその時に何をすればいいのか分かるようになると実際その地震とか津波が来たら、動けますですね。動けます。でそれはとても大事なポイントだと思います。
I could realize what was the most important to survive. We need to have a close relationship with our neighbors in daily life.
ちゃんと取っておくこと、つまり住民自治、住民同士がね日常的にコミュニケーションをとって助け合う関係が生死を分けたんです。つまり
The people who greeted us every day and knew all of our family members could easily find who was missing. Their friendship saved their lives.
誰がいるか分かんないんです。
Not only good relationship, but also knowing each other can help us. We can guess, for example, that old woman should be here on the bed. We'll dig there, and we'll rescue her.
のけたら生まれてたりするわけですよね。つまりそういう普段から
The earthquake in Kobe let us know the most important matter. To know each other saves
大事にして
lives.
たかどうかっていうことが自分を守るっていうことに気がついたって一番大きいことだと思います。でその
There are various residents, young or old, disabled or not, men or women, foreign or Japanese. Everyone must help each other and can do something. More people work, more power is
みんないろ
available.
んな人たちが住んでて、その人たちがみんな助け合わないといけないし、でその人たちはそれぞれなんかできることがあるんです。その助け合える力は多ければ多いほどいい。
そうです。
たとえ言葉がわからない
Even though someone doesn't understand Japanese, the person can help us if he or she realizes the situation. When a cupboard falls down on me, for example, a rescuer might be Chinese who lives next door.
机の下敷きにタンスの下敷きになってる時に、なってる時に助けてくれるのは隣に住んでる中国の人かもしれないわけですよね。そういう意味で住民も多様で
Minorities, in addition, often have their own viewpoints and let us know the different ways. We could notice we must realize diversity is valuable, and all of the residents should cooperate to make our town more comfortable.
少数者の視点が大事だということ、これも含めた住民自治、住民が自分たちでこの町を住みやすくするっていう意識が大事やということが一番大事だったですね。気がついた大切なことです。
We can help each other in a disaster due to the good relationship with our neighbors.
E nos tornarmos conhecidos perante a eles, poderemos ser lembrados e salvos, ou podemos também salvar alguém em um momento de perigo, né?
Isso sem dúvida.
Sure, we also need to prepare emergency bag, fix furniture, and reinforce our
Se os
house.
móveis estão bem fixos, se o kit de emergência está em dia. Enfim, de alguma forma, precisamos nos prevenir, né?
É mesmo.
Shiga Prefecture shows us how to prepare on the homepage.
Sobre medidas de prevenção em caso de emergência, sob o título Dekiru Kotokara Jishin Taisaku, medidas preventivas contra terremotos, na homepage do governo de Shiga.
How to fix furniture, what to keep in the emergency bag, and so on. We can read it in English, Portuguese, Spanish, Chinese, Korean, and Tagalog on the Shiga Intercultural Association for Globalization homepage.
Do Centro Internacional de Shiga, em vários idiomas, como japonês, inglês, português, espanhol, chinês, coreano e em Tagalog, filipino. Esperamos que possa ser útil a todos.
Some notices follow. We'll end a foreigner counseling and translating service on 31st of March at Shiga Prefectural Government Employment Support Center. From the 1st of April, Shiga Intercultural Association for Globalization, local governments, and Hello Work with interpreters will help you.
Procurar os guichês de consultas da prefeitura local ou da Associação Internacional de Shiga. E para consultas e apresentação de empregos, dirija-se a Hello Works, que conta com serviço de intérpretes.
Em nosso
Then
próximo
next time,
encontro, falaremos
For
sobre
emergencies, guard
Em caso de
our
emergência,
children and
como
old people.
proteger crianças e idosos.
Até lá.
See you next
Tchau,
time.
tchau.
Tchau, tchau.